Okay. Well, we're waiting for the start of the Redfield Pheasant football game against the Roncalli Cavaliers. Redfield is 0-2 on the season and have only scored 6 points and have been basically mercy ruled in both games that they've been playing in. The one mercy rule was at the end of the half, 50-point differential. And the other mercy ruled game was with 6 minutes left to go. Redfield's sole touchdown came on 2 consecutive 37-yard passes from Chase McGilvery to Justin Radigan. And then the extra point try for 2 was no good. And those are the 6 points that Redfield has had. Last time out, last year, Roncalli defeated Redfield by a score of 26-6. And unfortunately in that game, some bad taste came out of it because Roncalli, with less than a minute to go, lined up to kick a field goal. The first attempt was fumbled by the holder. They recovered, and that brought it down to about 26 seconds left in the game. And what happened then is they lined up and kicked a field goal again. So a little bit of a bad taste in Redfield's mouth. Unfortunately, the vast majority of the starting players for Redfield have moved on as graduating seniors. So Redfield and Roncalli have not returned to particularly quite a few seniors in the coming back to this year. Both of them have returned only 4. However, Roncalli had a much deeper team as they went into their junior high school football as well, while Redfield doesn't get that many people out and have not been able to keep up on the junior high and junior varsity level as Roncalli has. So the fact that Roncalli has lost the majority of their players to begin with doesn't mean that things are getting any better for Redfield, because they do not have as depth in the number of players that turn out. So their junior high and junior varsity experiences are not quite as deep as Roncalli. What you can do is come this way a little bit. Oh, I see, you got that. Then push the button out there, up here, and narrow in on it just a little bit. That's good right there. We are at a beautiful facility on the campus of Northern State University where the Roncalli High School football team plays at this location. Heretofore, they played over at Central High School, and a beautiful facility over there. But I was told by one of the administrators with Roncalli that the cost to play here is the same as the cost to play over at Northern, and so Roncalli chose to play here, which is only like a 2 or 3 year old facility. So it'll be the Aberdeen Roncalli Cavaliers against the Redfield Pheasants in a football game tonight. We're about ready to go with the opening toss here, and right now let's talk to Ted Kimball. And Ted, talk a little bit about this game and what's at stake here this evening.
Well, Redfield might be going into a hornet's nest in tonight's game against Roncalli, as the mighty Cavaliers were shut out 26-0 by the Dual Cardinals a week ago. Roncalli has 17 wins and 5 losses dating back to 2021 season. And they're not used to losing, especially this early in the season. They did get shut out by Hot Springs in last year's state championship quarterfinals, but they came into this year with a 14-0 win over Groton, a team that beat Redfield last week 56-6. For Redfield in that Groton game, there were a couple of bright spots. that did emerge. One was for a second week in a row. Despite being soundly outgunned, there doesn't seem to be any quit in this team. They were hustling on every play despite being a rebuilding year. Another bright spot in the third quarter against Groton, the defense held the Tigers to no points in that period. Speaking of scoring, Redfield did get on the scoreboard in the game. 2 consecutive 37-yard pass completions from quarterback Chase McGilvery to wide receiver Justin Radigan got the Pheasants into the end zone for the first time this year. Radigan got 110 yards and 5 receptions. On each completion, Justin had a defender hanging all over him. Shades of his outstanding rebounding abilities played in the basketball court the past 2 years. There are 3 undefeated teams in the same 11B region in which Redfield plays. Only one is on the Pheasant schedule this year, and that is Dual. And they're coming off their defeat of Roncalli and is playing Pheasant tonight. Looking at 1 win, 1 loss teams on Redfield's schedule, Groton is 0-2, Dakota Hills, Mobricks Pollock is home to Wagner, and Webster is at undefeated winner. Parker will be looking for their first win of the season at Flandreau. The other 0-2 teams are Dakota Hills and Redfield. Alan?
Okay, thank you very much, Ted. And we're getting ready to have the opening prayer that Roncalli presents at their own football games. This is their home game. And then we'll go with the national anthem and the starting lineups, and we'll be back in a minute and a half. This is KQ 1380.
Playing of our national anthem, played by the Roncalli Pet Band under the direction of Mrs. Kim Sarda. Proper respect for the flag is suspended.
You want less noise in the background?
And place your right hand on your heart towards the flag. Active duty.
Okay, well, I've got it way down, so okay. Keep me posted on that, if you would. Did we get drowned out? Okay. Run another one. Well, we're back at the Northern State University Wolves football field, and we're looking eye to eye to a mean-looking wolf down on the 50-yard line. A caricature put into the carpet down there, and that is basically what they play on. This is not natural grass that we're going to. It is a clear evening and 84 degrees. The relative humidity is up just a little bit, and we will start here with the opening lineups for the two teams. Unfortunately, we've not been provided with the lineman lineup, so we'll just have to go with the visiting team, or rather they're going to go with the home team first, and a quarterback will be number 11, Zane Backus. And he will have running backs of number 5, Brody Weinmeister, and number 19, Caden Larson. On the wideouts for Roncalli will be James Behan and number 1, Aiden Fisher. They also will flank out their tight end, and they have 2 tight ends in their lineup. Number 21, Keegan Stewart, and number 4, Cade Young. Handling the extra point will be Aiden Fisher, and his holder is expected to be Keegan Stewart. The kicker kicking off will be Aiden Fisher, and the return man for Roncalli will be number 15, James Behan, and Aiden Fisher. Looking at the punter would be Keegan Stewart, and the punt return man for the Roncalli Cavaliers will be number 1, Aiden Fisher. Looking at the starting lineup for Redfield, at quarterback will be number 8, Chase McGilvery. Number 7 will be his backup, as Ethan Falk has been released by the medical staff to be able to participate, but he is still a little weak in that right shoulder that he separated during practice. The running backs will be Jacob Brannon, number 32, and number 25, Dylan Murray. The wideout situation, and normally Redfield will spread out 3 players to one side and 1 to the other. So Justin Radigan will be number 82 on one side, and Connor Zenz or Noah Johnson will be on the other side. And the extra point kicker will be Justin Radigan. The holder will be Chase McGilvery. McGilvery is the man who kicks off, and kickoff return is handled by Jackson Sandos and number 4, Connor Zenz. Zenz will be the punt returner as well, and the punter will be Chase McGilvery. As right now, they are giving the starting lineups for the Roncalli Cavaliers, and while they do that, we'll take a break here of a minute. We'll be back. This is Redfield Sports Presentation on KQ 1380. Really? Good Lord. Okay. I'll get it up a bit then. We had to put the crowd mic in the window because there's screens on the windows. We can't drop the thing outside.
Starting at linebacker, Ohio Junior, number 5, Brody Weinmeister. Starting at defensive back, a 5'10" junior, number 22, Aiden Fisher. Starting at defensive back, a 5'10" junior, number 15, James Dean. And starting at defensive back, a 5'10" junior, number 11, and number 17, 19. Wow.
Well, we have some clouds beginning to come in a little bit. They're very spotty, but they're moving into the area. And, of course, we have that smoke coming down from the Canadian fires. And I believe, Ted, from don't they have some smoke coming over from Washington State as well?
That's what I heard this morning, that there was some blowing from the west end.
Well, that's a situation as we're getting ready to go here. This facility is absolutely spectacular, and if you get an opportunity to come up and watch a Northern State football game, this certainly would be the place to have a very enjoyable experience. Looking at the captains here for Redfield, and they rotate them around a little bit. Number 59 is Grady Fye. He is a captain acting today. Number 8, Chase McGilvery, will also be moving out here to take the opening toss, along with 61, Elijah Morissette. And the rotating in captain is number 20, Evan Jaton. And every week, the 3 basic ones will come out, and then they put a 4th one in there, somebody who has been very productive during practice. Out there as captains for Roncalli is number 60, that is Landon Zitmood. Also number 56, Josh Schonman. Number 21, Keegan Stewart. And number 72, Joey Johnson, as they are getting ready to flip the coin, and we'll find out who will receive. And sometimes when you get the coin flip and win it, you wind up deciding that you want to do something else and take the ball and kick it off the first time. So you get the ball first half, second half. So the flip of the coin has gone, and we will check and see the indication as to who's what. They're looking at a Redfield captain, and it apparently indicates that Redfield has won the toss and has elected to receive. And Redfield will be defending the western goal. Check that the northern goal is, this is a north-south layout here of the football field. And Roncalli will be kicking off from the south. So Roncalli will be going right to left, while Redfield the opposite way, left to right. So Redfield with the opportunity to put the ball in play to begin with. And we are about ready to go. We'll be back in 1 minute with the opening kickoff. This is KQ 1380.
Can you turn that down a little bit on mine?
Yeah. Hold on a second here.
On the kick for the Cavaliers, number 1, Ethan Fisher. Back deep to receive for the Pheasants is number 3, Jackson Sandos, and number 4, Connor Zach.
Aiden Fisher tropes the ball for Roncalli and gets it to the far side to Sandos. Sandos will come across the 20-yard line and get down to about the 21, where Redfield will 1st and 10 put it in play on the Redfield ball on their own 21-yard line. So Sandos got about an 8 or 9 yard return picking up the ball, and we're underway here at Northern State University. For Redfield in the backfield, it'll be Chase McGilvery, Jacob Brannon, and Dylan Murray. And immediately Redfield spreads the field out all the way to the far side. Noah Johnson in the slot to the far side is number 3. That is Jackson Sandos, and 2 flankers to the right side. And straight up the middle on a quarterback keeper will be McGilvery. And he gets very little running room. Maybe gets a yard out of it. So that will be putting the ball 2nd down and 9 yards to go. And it is on the Roncalli 22, check that, on the Redfield 22-yard line. Once again, that spread out formation. Noah Johnson far to the left, and to the near side, we have Sandos and Radigan. McGilvery on the short snap, gets it outside, and immediately on the ball for the tackle and slicing through is Brody Weinmeister, and that drops for a loss for Redfield on the carry on the outside. The ball will go back to the 14-yard line. So an 8-yard loss on the play, and that will bring up a 3rd down and a country mile to go for Redfield. Third down, the ball on the 14-yard line, 18 yards to go. Redfield flanking 3 out to the left side and 1 to the right. McGilvery with 1 remaining back. McGilvery off the right side, some running room, gets across the 20-yard line and down to about the 23. Not nearly enough for a 1st down, but a little bit of running room for McGilvery. And that will bring up a 4th down. A pickup of 10 yards on the play, so a nice gain by McGilvery. And he will go back into punt formation. Kick is away on 1 hop. The returner grabs it. That's Aiden Fisher. Comes to the near side, gets into Redfield territory, across to the 48-yard line. And so this will be the first opportunity. Justin Radigan in on the tackle. And 1st down for the Cavaliers. In Redfield territory, the ball is marked on the 48-yard line. Quite an improvement here, Ted, over a high school field where we have to counter.
We probably won't have it this good the rest of the season.
Or into next season as well. Handoff, left side, coming around and finding some running room, a lot of running room as a matter of fact. 2 tackles broken. The ball is carried by Brody Weinmeister, and Weinmeister will get down for a 1st down deep in Redfield territory as the ball is ultimately marked on the 15-yard line. 33-yard pickup on the play. And right away, Redfield is in a bit of a problem, flanking way out to the right side, James Behannon. Handoff once again to Weinmaster as he drives down to about the 7-yard line. So the Redfield 7-yard line. Pickup of 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Maybe a long 2. Let's correct that to about 7-yard pickup on the play. And it'll be 2nd down and 3 from the 7. Quarterback pitches out to the left side and sweeping around the left side. Weinmaster once again. But Redfield was there to kind of get things gathered in. So maybe a yard gained on the play by Weinmaster. So it's going to be now 3rd down and 2 as Redfield's defenses have stiffened a little bit. The ball is on the Redfield 6-yard line. Handoff inside to Weinmeister once again, driving towards the goal line, but is pushed back at about the 1-yard line. But that will be good enough for another 1st down. 1st down and goal. So Weinmeister has been the key ball carrier throughout this part of the drive, which started on the Redfield 48-yard line.
You get the feeling they're going to feed him all night?
It sure seems like it. Weinmaster is the lone remaining back. Hand off to him, straight forward and into the end zone for a touchdown. So a touchdown comes the way of the Cavaliers. And Redfield all of a sudden is behind the 8 ball once again. Try to pick up a time off this beautiful scoreboard. They have the time in teeny tiny letters. They're going through a beautiful animated thing that says touchdown. So finally it's 7:48 to go here in the 1st period. Roncalli up going for 2. On the reverse, it comes outside, and Justin Radigan will have none of it. And he grabs Aiden Fisher and knocks him down. So the point after touchdown is no good, and it is 6-0 in favor of the Cavaliers with 7:48 left to go here in the 1st period. And you're listening to Redfield Sports Presentation on KQ 1380. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays. How many yards can you add up the yards for Weinmeister on that drive? Weinmaster, how many yards on the drive?
Huh?
How many yards did Weinmaster get on the drive?
47
of the 48? Oh my God. Pick that up when we come back, if you will. I'll ask you.
Can't you see that clock underneath the...
Oh, the big one down below I was looking at. Jeez. Never mind.
When you say you couldn't see
Shut up. Just shut up.
Walked over
Just
again.
shut up.
That's why you got me.
Well, the kickoff by Aiden Fisher is taken by Sandos over on the 10-yard line, and the young man trying to get to the return fence set up on the opposite side of the field, and unfortunately sometimes you need to have the receiver think and say, okay, fine, I'm going to go straight ahead, because he was pinned over against the far sideline and tried to get over to the right side and pick up the extra period of time here, and let's see what we have going on. Looks like we're going to have a water timeout because it is still pretty toasty here, 84 degrees at kickoff, and we'll take the water timeout. This is KQ 1380.
For the Cavaliers next week, it'll be homecoming on Friday night at 7 o'clock here at Dakota Bank Stadium against Dakota Hills. At 5:15, there'll be a tailgate sponsored by Private Memorial Mortuary Crematory. Thanks to Georgia Station for all you do for Roncalli Athletics. McGilvery on the people. Stopped by a host of Cavaliers, but there's a penalty on the play.
But a flag is dropped down there. I'm going to guess that it was a face mask penalty possibly.
Personal foul. Face mask. On the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Redfield drops back and is swarmed under. McGilvery tackled by 3 Roncalli players, but in the melee, a 15-yard penalty because of a face mask. So the ball will come out to the 31-yard line, and a first down and 10 for Redfield right at that spot. Pass out to the right side. It is in and out of the arms of Connor Zenz. So the pass is incomplete to Zenz. And it'll be second down and 10 for Redfield as they are marked on, well, probably about the 31.5, but we won't split hairs. Call it 31. They need to go down to the, well, let's call it the 32-yard line because it looks like they need to go to the 42 to pick up a first down. Field spread out, one flanker to the right and one to the left. McGilvery calling signals with one back remaining. A quick short pass over to Radigan. Spins away from one tackler, gets down to about the 39-yard line. So Radigan picks up a few yards here. His last game, he had 110 yards in 5 receptions, and the ball gets up to the 40-yard line. But Redfield will need to go to the 42 to pick up a first down, so they are 3rd and 2 from the 42-yard line on the 8-yard pass play pickup. Quickly, Redfield out of the huddle and ready to go once again. Same alignment. McGilvery trying to fire his way across, loses the ball as he hits the ground. I don't think they'll call it a fumble, but I don't think he got any farther than the 41-yard line. As a matter of fact, they will put the ball right at the 41. So that will bring up a 4th and 1 and kind of a decision for Redfield. They got one strong yard there. What do you think? What's your call here, Coach?
I think they're going to go for it. I mean, what do you got to lose? You're a rebuilding year, you know.
Well, you're absolutely right on that. Not only that, they've lost games by 50 points both times, so why not spin it and try to take a shot at it here? It does look like they are going to come out and go for it. So there is a full backfield here. McGilvery with 3 remaining backs gets it, comes straight up the middle, and it looks like he got the first down up to the 42-yard line and fires his way forward. Let's see if they give him progress to the 43, but in any regard, he winds up picking up the first down. So McGilvery picks up 2. Two-yard pickup on the play and a first down for Redfield, their first of the game. First down and 10 with the ball marked on the Redfield 43-yard line. 5:35 left to go here in the first period. Redfield trailing it by a score of 6-0. But by way of a penalty and an 8-yard pass completion and 3 yards in 2 carries for McGilvery. And they're in business with a first down. McGilvery with the ball going out to his right side as the blitzing linebackers catch up with him, and he will be rocked back about 10 yards to the 33-yard line. 9-yard loss on the play. So just at the time Redfield looked like they were getting something going, Roncalli blitzed their linebackers.
It'll be second down and 21.
So second down and about 20. Redfield needs to get to to just about the 47-yard line in Roncalli territory. Two flankers left and three split out to the right. McGilvery is in the backfield on his own, and there is a timeout called. So there's going to be a delay of game call against Redfield, so that makes matters even worse, as it now will be second down and 25. The ball is marked back on the 28-yard line.
They're going the wrong direction.
They are indeed. 4:18 left to go, and the clock running here in the first period. Redfield trailing it by a score of 6-0. McGilvery in the backfield with one remaining back. McGilvery over the middle. The ball is bounced away, and it is incomplete. So an incomplete pass for McGilvery, and that will bring up third down and 25. The ball still on the Redfield 28-yard line with under 4 minutes to go in our first period. Ball marked on the 28-yard line. Noah Johnson flanked way out to the left side. He's out there with Sandos. And on the right side is Radigan. McGilvery back to throw, lofts one high in the air and overshoots his intended receiver, that being Connor Zenz.
Had plenty of air on it. Connor just couldn't get run under it.
Well, I don't know whether it got tipped or not, because it sure looked like it was kind of floating up in the air. And that will bring up a fourth down and 25, and Redfield this time, without a very short yardage gain that they picked up for a first down, are going to have to kick the ball away. High snap from center. McGilvery gets the kick away. It bounds on the Roncalli 40-yard line and gets a little bit of a Redfield roll, and it is finally down there by Justin Radigan. And I must say, Ted, that Radigan is all over the field.
Yep, he's going down.
Offensively and defensively, Justin is moving all over the place, and that will run us into...
Now they got a flag on the play.
Well, let's see. They're going to have to come back. Missed the flag. It was behind the kicker. When I first saw it, I thought maybe it might be a roughing the kicker, and apparently it is. Well, they only marked off 5 yards, so...
Incidental.
So a second
running
punt
into
here.
The kicker, I suppose.
Just ran into him. Okay, this time the punt is even shorter, unfortunately, for Redfield, but gets a Redfield roll and rolls inside the 30-yard line and down to about the 27-yard line. So as it turned out, a very, very nice exchange, and Redfield will go on defense with the ball marked on the 27-yard line in Roncalli territory.
About
First down and 10.
15-yard difference.
Not bad. We'll take that every single time. 3:37 left to go here in the first period. And if nothing else, Ted, this is a victory for Redfield.
Right.
In previous games, they were behind by 2 or 3 touchdowns by this juncture in the game. So a good look for Redfield up to this point. Quarterback Backus taking the snap. First handoff goes to Larson. Larson around the right side, crosses the 30-yard line, gets around the 32-yard line. Well, they're going to take that ball all the way down to the 32. So it looks like about a 5-yard gain for Larson. It'll be second and 5. The ball is marked on the 32.5-yard line. 3:08 left to go in the first period, as Roncalli will send out a flanker wide to the right side. That is Behan. Quarterback will take the direct snap and go back to throw. deep downfield. A man wide open, and it is caught, and there's a foot race headed to the end zone, and a late hit from behind delivered by Behan, but the touchdown is recorded, and the catch is made as he was just kind of going away by Aiden Fisher and got behind the defense on the left side. So Aiden Fisher will take the ball into the, well, let's see, from the 50 to the 32-yard line is going to be
18
to the 32
yards.
and 50 plus 50 is going to be a 68-yard touchdown at 2:46 left to go here in the first period. On a pass to Aiden Fisher, extra point attempt by Aiden Fisher, and it misses off to the left side, so the PAT is no good. And with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left to go here in the first period, it is Roncalli 12 and Redfield nothing. You're listening to football from Redfield. This is KQ 1380.
Just underway in Webster. Winner leads Webster here at 8-0. At the end of the first quarter, Buffalo Lake leads Bridgewater Inner Beacon 7-0. Midway through the first, the Cook Central Montrose leads Baltic 8-0. Midway through the first, Miller Hammer Harold 8, Stockton Meadows 0. Mount Vernon 20, Tim Tripp, Belmont Armor Vernon 6-0.
So Redfield will be receiving their third kickoff of the game, so this will be their third offensive series. Back on the far side to return the kickoff will be number 3, that is Jackson Sandos, and on the near side, number 4 is Connor Zenz. Aiden Fisher kicking off, and it's a line drive shot to Zenz. Zenz takes the ball on a full run and gets across the 30-yard line, and knocked down there at about the 31. The tackle on the play for Roncalli was Noah Kramer. So Redfield will put it in play in their own territory, first down and 10, and the ball is marked right at the 32-yard line. So relatively decent starting position for Redfield with their third offensive set. 2:41 left to go here in the first period, and they trail it by a score of 12-0. Two flankers left and one to the right, one remaining back, and a straight quarterback run. McGilvery gets away and drives his way across the 40-yard line. Looks like he may have gotten down as far as the 42, and if that's the case, it will be a Redfield first down. Well, now the official is marking it down.
Flag on the field.
There's a flag back there.
Illegal motion against Redfield.
Well, it's still early in the season, right, Ted?
Yep, sure is. That was a good run, too.
Brings back about a McGilvery 10-yard gain, and it will be first down and 15 with Redfield on their own 27-yard line. Clock running with under 2 minutes to go here in the first period. And our score, the Cavaliers 12 and Redfield nothing. Redfield had a little spark of hope as they had several plays on that last drive. Once again, we have 2 to the left and 1 to the right. McGilvery with a single back gives it off to, that is Baranin, and Baranin is grabbed in the backfield for a loss on the play. Ball would be marked back at about the 24-yard line, so a three-yard loss to Baranin. Back to the 24. So that'll make it second down and 18 to go for Redfield. Just seems like Redfield gets something going, and the Cavaliers will shoot those linebackers and stop Redfield in their tracks. McGilvery with one remaining back, one flanker to the left. McGilvery rolling out to his right and being rushed off of his feet. Let's see if they call that grounding. No, they do not. He just got the pass away. He was outside the tackle box. So just as he was going down, McGilvery threw a pass and it was incomplete. Oh, they do have a penalty flag down. Well, that came from the opposite side of the field, so I don't know that it's grounding necessarily. Look for the call from the official here. Unfortunately for Redfield, he is talking to the Roncalli sideline, so it must have been against Redfield. Still some conversation going on. There was an illegal receiver downfield and a 5-yard penalty on the play. And checking to see if they're going to refuse it. They do indeed. So considered to be an incomplete pass, will make it third down and 18. Redfield still on their 24-yard line with 1:15 left to go here in the first period. Radigan flanked out to the right side, and Noah Johnson out to the left. On the wing is Zenz, back to throw, and once again pouring through now McGilvery getting out of the pocket and driving to the left side, and the 225-pound, 6'2" Chase McGilvery really lowered the boom, but could not get much past the 24-yard line as he is taken down over there. So no gain on the play. That'll bring up a fourth down and 18 as McGilvery was flushed out of the pocket, and it seems like Redfield's offensive line needs to do a little work.
God, and I thought that kind of, it was a strike too, you know.
Punt is away and taken on the 43-yard line. Fisher with the ball, plenty of running room down the left side, and is finally driven out of bounds on about the 18-yard line. So 8 yards to the 50, and then going from the 50, let's see where they place that ball actually. It looks to be about the 18-yard line. So on that return, 40 yards on the return by Fisher. And so Roncalli is in a tremendous field position once again. First down and 10 for Roncalli. The ball to the left side. Fisher once again, he is knocked out of bounds on about the 9-yard line.
Oh, about 9 yards to run there.
So another 9 yards picked up by Fisher. And it'll be a first down for the Cavaliers once again. And the ball is in Redfield territory. It will be down on the 6-yard line. So first and goal from the 6, 22 seconds left to go here in the first period, a period that Redfield is on the short side of a 12-0 count. The keeper by the quarterback as he spins to hand off, dives into the end zone. The ball is fumbled away, and let's see who picked it up. Redfield picked it up right at the 1-yard line. So a fumble on the play by the quarterback for Roncalli, that's Backus, as he was right on the goal line, and Redfield recovers, and it'll be first and 10 for Redfield, and they will be on literally their half-yard line. Well, the way the Roncalli defensive linemen have been slicing through the offensive line for Redfield, it looks like this could be a challenge for Redfield to avoid getting a safety. 3 backs back there with McGilvery in the end zone. Coming straight up and just barely getting out of the end zone on a straight handoff. Going to, I believe it was Radigan. No, the handoff went to Baranin looks like he lost a half a yard, maybe 4 or 5 inches just outside the goal line.
On the offense. A penalty is declined. Second down.
Well, there was a penalty on the play, but it was declined. So it's going to be second down and probably close to 10.5 or 11 on the Redfield 6-inch line.
At the end of the first quarter,
And that will end the first quarter of play. And after one quarter of play, Redfield 12-0, but quite frankly, Ted, that's kind of a victory for Redfield.
Yeah, it could have been quite a bit more.
Generally, at this period in the previous games, they were behind by 2 or 3 touchdowns, so we'll see how things work out here in the second period. You're listening to Redfield Pheasants football on KQ 1380.
Played that whole quarter on our side of the field.
Wow.
But they did pretty good considering.
If you would. Well, Redfield in the shadow of their own goal line on the play for Baranin. He was stopped as he tried to go off the right side and literally lost 6 inches. The ball is on the half-yard line, and we'll see how Redfield plays it. With a 12-0 lead, Ted, I'd almost expect Roncalli just to come after it.
Oh, I believe so, yep.
You know what might be interesting, and I've seen this on a couple of games, not with Redfield, but where the quarterback runs towards the line and then jumps up and tosses it over the line.
Yep.
So let's see if that's in their playbook. Redfield with Radigan flanked all the way out to the right side.
Well, if they got a trick play, it's going to work. This is the place to use it.
3 remaining backs. Paulson in the backfield, along with Murray, and also, well, the straight snap and driving straight forward is McGilvery. May have gotten out to the 2-yard line. A little slow getting up there. As a matter of fact, he did get out to the 2. So the ball now on the 2-yard line, so a gain of 1.5 yards. And it will be third down, and there'll be a timeout for Redfield. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380. That post is right in the middle of where the ball is on. 3rd and 9. Well, Redfield with a 3rd and 9 on their own 2-yard line. Radigan again flanked way out to the right side, and on the near side is Noah Johnson. This time only one remaining back behind McGilvery, and that is Baranin. Waiting for the clock time to run down on the timeout. Every time the referee turns on his microphone, there's a tremendous amount of feedback. So somewhere along the line, they need to get that fixed. I don't know if they have that problem with the Northern State team when they play here, but that definitely is a problem. So McGilvery, standing in his own end zone with Baranin, the remaining back, is back to throw and is tackled in the end zone, and that will be a safety. So in on the tackle for the Cavaliers was Zane Backus, driving in from his right cornerback spot and just rushed in there and knocked the ball away from McGilvery. And with 11:39 left to go in the half, a safety gets 2 points, and so it is now 14-0. And the Cavaliers have gotten back the 2 extra points that they missed. Teams huddling up on either side. Tell you what, we'll pause for 30 seconds. This is KQ 1380.
After the safeties, you score Cavaliers 14.
Well, 2's better than 6.
Well, approaching the ball to kick it off after the safety will be Chase McGilvery, and he will be kicking from the 20-yard line. Now, the team has a choice. He can either punt it away or put it up on a tee and kick it like you would a kickoff. And it appears to me that Chase has chosen to kick it away off of a tee. Back deep to receive, James Behan and Aiden Fisher. Fisher's on the far side. Fisher has a touchdown to his credit already today, and Redfield trails it with 11:39 left to go in the half by a score of 14-0. Fisher takes the ball on the 35-yard line, tries to get over to a fence, and boy, flags came flying in from every direction.
Holding.
Was it holding or was it a face mask?
Well, it looked like holding to me, but could be a face mask too.
Well, let's see what the
Because he
referee
grabbed his
has.
jersey.
Block in the back by the Cavaliers, and that will be a 15-yard penalty, or is it 10, Ted?
10.
It's 10. So the Cavaliers will put it in play in their own territory for the first time. Ball marked on the 29-yard line. Cavaliers break the huddle. They're going left to right in their green uniforms with the white stripe down the leg and the gold helmets. Yellow, actually. Back to throw. Backus steps forward, almost gets knocked off his feet. The pass is completed down to Keegan Stewart, one of the captains, and he is still on his feet as he drives his way down to the 11-yard line. So Backus almost got nailed as they put the ball in play on the 29-yard line. That was where the pass came from. So 21 yards to there plus 39 is going to be a total of 60-yard pass play. So Backus just did get the ball away, and it was taken for nearly a touchdown. Several missed tackles along the way, and a whistle on the play. And let's see what we have going on here. Once again, checking the referee, and it's going to be a motion penalty, and that is going to be against Roncalli. So Roncalli will be moved back 5 yards, and it'll be 1st and 15, the ball marked on the 16-yard line in Redfield territory. After a 60-yard pass completion, carried the ball down to the 11, the motion penalty has moved it back to the 16. Cavaliers inside handoff, and it is a nice tackle in there by McGilvery on the runner, and he needs to turn to the side here because they don't have numbers on their shoulders. Number 15, or is that 19, Ted? I can't read that
15.
darn thing. 15, okay, we'll go for that. Behan carrying the ball. So Roncalli with a couple of yards lost on the play. Inside handoff to Fisher, finds some running room and dives his way across the 5-yard line, bounces down to the 4-yard line. So a 12-yard pickup for Fisher, as Fisher has been the main ball carrier and the biggest thorn in the side of Redfield. The ball down to the 4-yard line. If Roncalli can get to the 2, they will have another first down. Third down and about 2, with the ball on the Redfield 4-yard line. Roncalli, straight, direct snap, and Backus will carry the ball the 4 yards into the end zone and get another touchdown for Roncalli. The touchdown coming at 9:31 left to go here in the half, and the score moves up to 18-0 with the extra point pending now. Check that, it is 20-0. And the PAT will be attempted by Aiden Fisher. Fisher is all over the place today. The holder is number 21, and that is Keegan Stewart. The kick is up, and it is no good. So no on the extra point. And right now, Redfield trailing by a score of 20-0. We have 9:31 left to go in the half, and this is KQ 1380. Well, Roncalli kicking off for the 4th time in this football game as Redfield trails it by a score of 20-0. We have 9:31 left to go here in the first half. Teeing the ball up will be Aiden Fisher, and back for Redfield. On the far side is Connor Zenz, and on the near side is Sandos. The up man back there is number 2, that is David Lopez. So if it goes short, Lopez will be there to grab it. Fisher stepping forward, kicks the ball off, and it will come to the near side and taken by Sandos. Sandos tries to go over to the middle, and once again trying to get to the picket fence, as they call it, set up on the other side instead of just turning and going straight up. And he is knocked down at about the Redfield 23-yard line. So Redfield will take it 1st and 10 on the Redfield 23-yard line. And Redfield trying to see if they can get something going here. Every time they have had a little bit of glimmer of hope, all of a sudden the linebackers blitz for Cavaliers, and Redfield is knocked back. So 1 remaining back behind McGilvery, 2 to the right and 2 to the left. In motion is Zenz, left to right. Ball comes back to McGilvery, and whistle all over the place. And a procedure penalty will go against Redfield.
He turned up a little quick.
So that'll bring up a 1st down and 15 for Redfield, and they'll be marched back to their 18-yard line. The motion man, as Ted mentioned, moved towards the line before the ball was snapped, and the official on the far side got the laundry out, and there we are there. Two flank left, two flank right. If they could just give McGilvery a little bit more time to throw, they might be able to take advantage of that. The handoff is straightforward, goes to Baranin, but he finds very little running room there. So it'll bring up a second down. The ball is marked on the 16-yard line, so a loss of 2 on the play. Every time we go to look for something on the scoreboard, they have this big, beautiful picture of a Roncalli player for some reason or another. I guess he was the one that made the tackle. Anyway, it will be second down and 17. Ball marked on the 16-yard line. This time a wingman to the left. McGilvery far downfield, and he is interfered with. And the he is going to be Radigan. He was knocked down as the ball was in the air, and Redfield will get a 15-yard penalty. This is not like college or the pros where the foul occurred on the 43-yard line. So a pass interference play.
I'll give them a first down.
That will indeed. They've gotten a couple of first downs via penalty and a couple by on the runs, on the ground rather. So Redfield will get the ball first down and 10 as the ball is marked down on the Redfield 31-yard line. Radigan really showed up last week with an outstanding job of grabbing 110 yards in 5 receptions. 1 to the right and 2 to the left. McGilvery gets out of the pocket and gets knocked down before he gets to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be a loss for Redfield. As that pass protection, Ted, just is not working today.
No. They got to be able to block for the extra 2 seconds yet. They did a good job in the first quarter, but they just, I don't know. They'll get better.
4-yard loss on the play, and that will bring up a third down. Third down and about 6. McGilvery from the shotgun, back to throw. The ball flaps out of his hand and is recovered by the Cavaliers. The ball on the 21-yard line as McGilvery looked up to throw the ball almost simultaneously when the ball came back on the snap, and he lost control of it. So Redfield with a turnover there, and it'll be first and 10 for the Cavaliers on the Redfield 21-yard line, and Redfield trailing it by a score of 20-0 with 7:42 left to go here in the first half, and we have a timeout on the field. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380.
After the game, check out sextesportscene.com for all high school and college and area athletics. Thanks to Dave Bill, Howard, and John Davis for their continued coverage of area athletics. Class 11B is now custom to 0. 7 minutes left to go in the second. Area leads the Hills.
7:42 left to go in the half. Redfield down by a score of 20-0, and Roncalli just jumped on a Redfield fumble and have taken over on the Redfield 21-yard line. So 5 offensive possessions for Redfield, and they have come away empty. They had one relatively decent drive, but have not been able to follow up on that. Flanking wide out to the right side is Behan. Tight formation for Roncalli. Backus with the ball, spins around, throws downfield, and into the end zone, wide open for the touchdown is Fisher once again. So Aiden Fisher has been everything Roncalli today. Redfield has not been able to solve the situation. So a pass of 21 yards to Fisher, and with 7:36 left to go, the score for Redfield is 0, and for Roncalli 26, with the extra point pending. Let's see if Roncalli tries to make up the several extra points that they have missed. They do. They're going for 2. Inside handoff goes to Fisher, and he converts with 2 more points, and it's now 28-0 in favor of Roncalli. You're listening to a Redfield Sports presentation on KQ 1380. Oh boy.
With 3 minutes left to go in the first half, in Class 11 AA, Heat Area and Aberdeen Central are tied at 7. With 5 minutes left to go in the second half, Newell leads Pheasant 14-0. Back deep to receive for the Pheasants, number 3, Jackson Sandos, and number 4, Connor Zenz. On the kick from the Cavaliers, number 1, Aiden Fisher.
Set to go is Aiden Fisher approaching the ball and firing it down, and it will be taken by Sandos. The ball just bounces away from him, and he falls on it on the 2-yard line, and Redfield with a miserable starting spot as the ball hit on the edge just as Sandos was ready to pick it up, and it bounced to his right, and he scrambled around and came up with it as Redfield will put it in play on their own 2-yard line. First down and 10. Well, by golly, they mark it down on the 3. Well, down in that area, every 1 yard helps out. $7:14 left to go in the half for the Pheasants. And leading the way out of the huddle is the center, Elijah Morissette. Very important position as they call the offensive line stunts. McGilvery driving up to the left side, gets some running room up close to the 10-yard line. So he broke a tackle in there. And let's see where they spot that ball. Looks like they're putting it right on the 10-yard line, so a 7-yard pickup for McGilvery. Second down and 3 with Redfield on the 10. Once again, set wide formation. Flankers, one of them on either side. 4 remaining backs with McGilvery taking the ball out of the shotgun. Once again, McGilvery straight forward, this time on the right side, and is stopped by the left defensive side of the Cavalier line. But it looks like McGilvery may have gotten up very close to a first down. Let's check and see where they mark it. They put the ball right on, well, let's see, put it down. It's right close to the 14-yard line. So Redfield with the ball on the 14-yard line, a 4-yard pickup on the play, first down and 10 for Redfield. First rushing first down that the Redfield Pheasants have gotten, and they stick with that 3 backfield set along with McGilvery. McGilvery straight forward. This time he finds little or no running room on the right side. They stop by the left side of the Roncalli line. And there'll be a timeout called for Redfield.
Timeout, Redfield.
And with that timeout, we'll take a 1-minute break. This is KQ 1380. McGilvery -1, second down and 11.
See Mr. Larson, you'll have your money. It's a white ticket, 3965018. 3965018. Please see Mr. Larson.
All right, Redfield coming back after their second time out here in the half. 5:48 left to go in the half. Once again, Redfield back with that spread offense, which could be effective if the line could keep the Roncalli defensive players out of there. McGilvery by himself in the backfield, 2 left and 3 to the right. McGilvery quickly throws the ball, almost to intercepted, but the ball was thrown right at the feet of Baranin and incomplete.
Well, it got deflected.
That'll do it every time. Third down and 11. Ball is on the 13-yard line in Redfield territory. They got 1 first down out of this drive that started on the 3. But 1 isn't going to cut it. Redfield 3 flankers to the right and 1 to the left. McGilvery in the backfield by himself. Now Sandas comes over in the slot on the left side, so we have 2 and 2. McGilvery back to throw, gets flushed out of the pocket, and is tackled for a loss. The ball will go back to the 9-yard line. So another sack recorded against McGilvery. Ball back to the 9, so a loss of 4 yards on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th and 15. So McGilvery will stand back on about his 1-yard line as Redfield will move it from right to left. Roncalli, well, they think that maybe it might be a fake punt as they don't have anybody back deep, and there was some movement on the line, and it looks like an offside will go against Roncalli. So a penalty will move the ball out to the Redfield 14-yard line. And it will be 4th and 10. 5:05 left to go. Redfield, check that, Roncalli does put a man back Behan, and the punt goes away. It is a nice deep punt and taken on the 45-yard line. Calling a fair catch back there is Fisher. And Roncalli will put the ball in play. And it will be at the Redfield 45-yard line, 1st and 10. The Cavaliers leading it by a score of 28-0 with just under 5 minutes to go here in the first half. Backus calling signals. A man on the wing to the left. Handoff goes to the left side and sweeping way around the left side, which has been a weak point for Redfield so far, as driving the carrier out of play is Ethan Falk, but the ball carrier, Caden Larson, carries the ball around that left side before he was swept out of bounds. The ball is marked on the Redfield 38-yard line, so a 7-yard gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down and 3. Backus, the quarterback. This time the power for the Cavaliers is to the right. Open field to the right. Backus rolls out to the right. Looking downfield, sails it way out there. Aiden Fisher is wide open and goes in for a touchdown. So Fisher gets another touchdown for Roncalli. This time it is a 38-yard pass play. And with 4:38 left to go in the half, Roncalli has moved the score up to 34-0, and the extra point is pending. So Aiden Fisher has been a major league thorn in the side of Redfield. He was wide open by at least 15 yards down the right sideline. The extra point down and up, and this time it is good. And this is Fisher getting the extra point. I think he has scored 7,413,093 points in this ball game to this point.
Well, Fisher has 187 receiving yards already in the first half. So.
That'll do it every single time. We'll be back for another kickoff from Roncalli to Redfield. You're listening to Redfield Pheasant Baseball Hello Football on KQ 1380.
And they haven't sold to nobody else.
Noah Johnson takes the ball on the 11-yard line. He has crossed the 20 and get down to about the 36-yard line, but two penalty flags come down, and that is back on about the 33-yard line. So I suspect that they are going to call a block in the back or a hold. It is a block in the back, and unfortunately, Noah Johnson reversed his field, and when that happens, the defender, or rather the blockers, don't have eyes in the back of their heads, and they're throwing a block, and all of a sudden the runner makes a move the other way, and instead of it being a legal block, all of a sudden it is a block in the back. So that is really tough when a back begins to scramble around or a return man begins to scramble around. All of that aside, Noah Johnson had a nice return, but Redfield will put the ball in play on their own 19-yard line. 4:26 left to go in the half. Redfield with a wingman to the left side. McGilvery takes the ball and hands it straight off to Murray. And Murray, or Bohannon rather, has absolutely no place to go. Bohannon is knocked down on the 16-yard line, so it's a loss of 3 yards for Redfield, and it'll bring up second down and 13. The front defensive 3 and 4, they kind of rotate between a 3 and a 4-man front, and it looks like now they're going with 3-man front and 4 linebackers, so that 3-4 defense. McGilvery standing on his 10 with 1 remaining back to throw. Can't find anybody, gets out of the pocket and plows his way up across the 15-yard line. Might have gotten as far as the 16, as McGilvery is a little bit slow to get up here. And we'll take a second to look at McGilvery and see how he is doing. And there will be a penalty timeout here. Looks like McGilvery has a boy. I can see the cramp in his left calf. Man, that thing is bulging out like crazy. So we will take a 1-minute timeout. This is KQ 1380. Yeah, and it's hot as a pistol up here, too.
Number 7, Ethan Falk on the carry. Tackled by 51, Brad Harms. It'll be 4th and 8.
Redfield with straight ahead drive by Falk gets across the 20 down to about the 22-yard line.
Okay.
And it is a pickup of 4 yards for Falk, but not nearly enough to make up the 11 they needed. And Redfield will go to a 4th down, and they have McGilvery back to kick. Gets the kick away, fairly decent one, line drive kick, gets a Redfield roll, goes past Fisher, the intended punt returner, and the ball is downed by Redfield at the 34-yard line in Roncalli territory.
Elementary cheerleaders, please report.
Pretty fair punt.
Very good punt, as a matter of fact, when you come right down to it, as we will go to 2 minutes and 11 seconds left to go here in the first half. And the ball is marked on the Cavalier 34-yard line. First down and 10. Roncalli leading it by a score of 35-0. And they come out of the huddle. Backus is the quarterback. He has 1 remaining back and 2 wingmen. The hand goes to the runner coming around the right side, and boy, what a great tackle by Radigan. My goodness sakes, he really wrapped him up there. As coming to the near side was Caden Larson. Larson did pick up a couple of yards, but Dustin Radigan really ran him to the ground. Well, they're going to mark the ball on the 35-yard line, so Larson has a pickup of just 1 yard. Second down and 9. Roncalli quickly out of the huddle and ready to go. Flanker all the way out to the left side. The ball marked on the near side with the open side to the left. A wobbly pass is thrown out there and is intended for Weinmeister, who in the first period was everything for Roncalli. And now, as the game has progressed, it is Fisher who is their most valuable player at the time. So with the incomplete pass, it'll bring up 3rd and 9. The ball marked on the 35-yard line. Roncalli with 128 has 3 flankers out to the left, and I suspect that they're going to go for a bomb. Backus throws short, picked up by Fisher. Fisher spins away from one tackler and gets down to the Roncalli 45-yard line, and that will be a first down. First down and 10 for Roncalli on the pass. Went to Fisher, as Fisher has just been, I don't even want to call it a thorn. I think we'd call it a spike in Redfield's side, wouldn't you say, Ted?
Well, 197 catching already.
4 flankers out to the right for Roncalli and rolling to the right side. is Backus. Backus throws a high floater downfield, and it is incomplete. On the play for Redfield was Connor Zen staying with the wide receiver step for step, and that will make it 2nd down and 10. Roncalli on their own 45-yard line. 51 seconds left to go as the Cavaliers are trying desperately to hit a big long play to see if they can get one more before the end of the half. Backus in the backfield of Roncalli by himself, rolls out to the right side, but there's a whistle on the play.
Timeout.
Just as the sideline calls a timeout. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380. Well, the pass all the way down to the 10-yard line in Redfield territory, but Connor Zenz was right there as a defender, and with 51 seconds to go, 2nd down and 10 for Roncalli from the 45-yard line. Pass back is complete to Keegan Stewart. Stewart finds some running room and gets across into Redfield territory down to about the 33-yard line. So a pass completed.
Backus' pass is complete to number 21, Stewart. The result of the play is...
So the ball will go down for a 1st down for Roncalli. It is marked on Redfield's 34-yard line. So a pickup of 21 yards on that pass play. Roncalli quickly out of the huddle. Time running down. They're trying to get one before the half here. Backus in the backfield by himself. This time he is rushed out of the pocket and tucks and goes. There's a penalty flag that has been thrown down back in the backfield as Backus runs out of the pocket and gets down to about the 25-yard line. But I believe that things will be coming back. It looks like a preliminary indication as a hold, as one of the offensive linemen for Roncalli is having a brief discussion with the referee, and you know where that's going, right, Ted?
Yep. In one ear and out the other.
What do you mean a hold? I didn't hold him. Yeah, right, son. So 10 yards back.
It'll be 1st and 20 for the Cavaliers. Ball on the...
So a penalty on the play. Well, let's see. Redfield apparently is going... Nope, it's a 1st down still. First and 21, as a matter of fact. So Roncalli back to their own 45-yard line. Backus whistle on the play, and I suspect this one is a motion penalty against Roncalli. They only had 4 returning seniors or juniors to be seniors from last year. So the one big difference, of course, is that Roncalli has a lot more depth down in the junior high. Well, they're going to waive the penalty off.
We have equipment, number 11, ball, and 1 play.
Well, Backus needs to come out for a play, they say, and now there's going to be a timeout called by Roncalli. So with timeout on the field, 28 seconds left to go in the half, and Roncalli leading it by a score of 35-0. You're listening to KQ 1380. Well, we're still. Well, 28 seconds to go here in the half, and Roncalli seems very bent on trying to get into the end zone one more time before the half, but it's first down and 21. The ball is marked on the Redfield 45-yard line. Back to throw, being rushed out of the pocket and throwing deep down and out of play. Pass was intended for Jet Johnson. And let's see, they only took up 8 seconds on that one. So now with 20 seconds left to go on the clock, it'll be the 7th play of this drive that started on the Roncalli 34-yard line. And they will put the ball still on Redfield's 45. It'll be second down and 21 for the Cavaliers. Backus back to throw, being rushed out of the pocket. The ball is tipped away and almost intercepted by Elijah Morissette. Radigan got in there and knocked the ball away from Backus. So the pass is incomplete. Keep the ball on the...
He didn't know what to do with it. What's
Now
this data doing here?
He can handle the ball, for crying out loud. He's a first baseman and a catcher.
Yes.
Come on, Elijah. All right, set to go. Inside handoff. This goes to Weinmeister. Weinmeister gets tripped up on a nice tackle by Connor Zenz. And they will put the ball down on the Redfield 37-yard line, and that will end the half. And at the end of the half, it is Redfield on the short end of a 35-0 count. You're listening to KQ 1380.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, the varsity cheerleaders had the greatest pleasure of hosting the primary and elementary school girls at a mini cheer camp.
Well, with Redfield on the short end of a 35-0 count at halftime, and they've shown bursts of decent play. And let's take a look at some of the feelings and opinions that you have about the first half, Ted.
Well, Roncalli's got 218 passing yards and 84 rushing yards. And Redfield has 9 rushing yards and 7 passing yards. So it's pretty lopsided at this time. Redfield seemed like they'd take a step forward and 2 steps backward. You know, they'd have a couple of good plays, and then things just fell apart after that.
Well, they're having a little bit of trouble picking up the blitzing linebackers on that 3-4 defense. And just to explain what a 3-4 is, they have 3 down linemen rushing towards the runner or the passer, whichever. And then the 4 linebackers will fill in what other gaps they see opening up. And that seems to have stymied Redfield in their offensive opportunities. For Redfield, they had one decent drive. It was aided by a 15-yard pass interference penalty, but outside of that, it's been pretty much 3 and out. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380.
Almost both SD cards are full.
Both are full?
Yeah, because they ran so much time down trying to get a touchdown. They wasted a bunch. B is full and A only has 2 minutes left.
Well, I'll have to look. Here, are these empty?
Yeah, maybe they're empty.
Were they zeroed out? If not, I can zero them out. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you might have to zero them.
Hold on a second. Let me get this started, then I got some time.
Okay.
This is KQ 1380 Halftime Sports, and we're looking ahead to the Redfield football team schedule. After tonight, the Pheasants have 5 games. Next week, the Pheasants will have 2 home games in a row separated by a bye week. First up will be next week as Mobridge Pollock takes the long trip to visit Redfield. At this time, the kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m. with the KQ 1380 pregame show at 6:45. The following Friday, September the 15th, is the Pheasants bye week, and then on Friday the 22nd, it will be the homecoming game against Webster. Teams on the Redfield football schedule in action tonight are the 2-0 Hot Springs Bison at Lakota Tech. The Groton Tigers, victors over Redfield last week, will be trying to put a second win on their record as they travel to Dakota Hills. Mobridge Pollock Tigers, coming off a 42-8 win over Dakota Hills, will look for a second win in a row, this time against the highly ranked Wagner. The Webster Bearcats will also have their hands full with a ranked team. They play Winter this week. The Bearcats lost to Clark Willow Lake last week 6-0, and finally winless Parker is at Flandreau. Other high school football teams in the KQ 1380 coverage area in action tonight are Hitchcock-Tulare, upset by Faulkton 40-0 last week. Hoping to rebound against Iroquois Lake Preston in a game played earlier today, we have no results at this time. Faulkton is looking to win their second in a row against a 2-0 Potter County club. Northwestern will look to get into the win column against Loyola Frederick, and the Titans might be a tough team to beat. Earlier, as it is in the season, this will be their homecoming game. Checking on Redfield sports coming up next week, volleyball has a road game against Loyola Frederick, and that'll be on Tuesday. And then the volleyball gals will return home for a Thursday date against Sisseton. As of this date, the volleyball girls have a 1-win, 3-loss match record. This past week, the Lady Pheasants split with a loss to Hitchcock-Tulare Patriots, but a 3-0 win over Dual. In the Patriots match, despite Redfield losing all 3 games, it was an extremely exciting event. The Pheasants came ever so close in games 1 and 3, but succumbed by only 2 points in game 1 and by just 3 points in game 3. Katie Roselle was the top Redfield server, going 7 of 8 with 2 aces. Hayden Gall led the way in sets with a 59 of 60 routine, and Chloe Zenz accomplished 17 digs. Loyola Frederick, the Tuesday road opponent, is 3-2, while Sisseton, the team to be at the Greeno Gym on Thursday, is winless in 4 matches so far this season. From the Redfield golf team, on Thursday, the Lynxsters will travel to Groton for a match. Last Tuesday, 5 of the 6 Pheasant varsity golf team members had low scores, season low scores as a matter of fact, with Jackson Campbell and Kevin Weller leading the way with 88s. Tristan O'Daniel broke 100 with a 99, while Michael Zastro and Jackson Rude finished a stroke apart at 101 and 102. In the prior tournament of the week, Campbell led the Pheasants with a 9th place finish, carding an 86, while Seth Domke came in with an 89. 6 groups took place in the Pheasants Invitational Cross Country event held yesterday in Redfield. Nearly 20 schools participated in the action. In the boys' 5,000-meter run, sophomore Peyton Moore finished 10th with a time of 18 minutes and 48 seconds. The individual winner was Lance Bradley of Standing Rock, and the team winner was Dupree High School. On the girls' side, junior J.D. Turner completed the 5,000 meters in a time of 25 minutes, 26 seconds. In the junior varsity category, 7th grader Christian Peterson was tops among Redfield runners over that 3,000-meter course with a 13:54. 6th grader Carson Peterson led Redfield runners in the middle school 2,000-meter course with an 8:17. Freshman Emma Fugman was the top Pheasant girl runner in the 3,000-meter junior varsity event with a 17:34. And in the middle school action, the lead Redfield runner was 6th grader Sage Youngworth as she ran the 2,000-meter course in 8:47. The South Dakota college football season got into full swing yesterday with a slate of 5 games. There's 1 game on the books for tonight and 4 more tomorrow. South Dakota State opened defense of their 2022 national title with a 45-7 victory over Western Oregon. The Jackrabbits started right off with an opening kickoff drive of 72 yards in 7 plays. Returning quarterback Mike Gronkowski was 8 of 10 passing for 121 yards and a touchdown. The leading rusher was Amar Johnson, who ran for 70 yards in 8 carries. The top receiver, Griffin Wild, with 4 grabs, totaling 79 yards. In all, 19 players appeared on the stat sheet as SDSU jumped out to a 42-0 halftime lead. Northern State University opened their season on the road in Minnesota against Bemidji State and came away with a 49-13 loss. NSU home opener is next Saturday against Minnesota Duluth. The University of South Dakota also opened the season with a loss on the road as Missouri topped USD 35-10. The Coyotes have their home opener next Saturday against St. Thomas. The Dakota State Trojans actually started their season on August 26th, with a 23-13 loss to Dakota Wesleyan. The Trojans followed up last night, dropping their 2nd in a row. This time it was Wisconsin lacrosse coming out on top 31-6. Sioux Falls opened up with a home loss 54-26 against nationally ranked Minnesota State. The Cougars won't be home until September the 23rd. The college game on tap tonight is South Dakota Mines at home against Valley City State. Tomorrow it will be Dakota Wesleyan at home to Hastings, Black Hills State in St. Paul to play St. Thomas, and Augustana College at Simpson. In pro sports, the Minnesota Twins still hold a 5-game lead in the Central Division of the American League over Cleveland, despite losing the just completed series 2-1 to Cleveland. Tonight, the Twins start a 3-game road set against the Texas Rangers before staying on the road for another try against Cleveland in a 3-game series. The Minnesota Vikings will start the regular NFL season next Sunday, the 10th, at home against Tampa Bay, after losing all 3 preseason games. Elsewhere on the NFL schedule for teams that have apparent local Redfield followers will be the Kansas City Chiefs opening on Thursday at home against Detroit. Then on Sunday, the San Francisco 49ers will be in Pittsburgh, and the Green Bay Packers will travel to Chicago to play the Bears. And that's KQ 1380 Halftime Sports with Alan Scott. The game score and the second half are coming up for the game between Redfield and Roncalli. You're listening to a Redfield High School sports presentation on KQ 1380.
Okay, we're coming back. Because they built, what's this truck has been built with the mind that someday they can put a roof on.
Now you don't have the. This is not running right now, Alex. No? Okay. Well, Redfield came out in the third period in the game against Groton last week and held the Groton Tigers to nothing in the first period, or rather in the third period. And possibly that might be the case here, as head coach Hank Brasilio has a tendency to do a pretty good job at halftime making adjustments, but they don't seem to last a long time. And hopefully Redfield can hold off Roncalli here. They're trailing by a score of 35 to nothing. And we were just talking about this stadium while Ted and I were taking a break there with the halftime sports. And Ted, tell us some of the things that you've heard about this very, very fine stadium.
Well, this is a beautiful stadium, and I was told by some people that they construct it in such a manner if they ever want to put a roof on it, that the groundwork is done for that, and they can, but if you're talking several more $1 million to do something like that. But up here in the cold country in the wintertime, it'd be an ideal facility, especially for northern, so.
Well, I can see where there's a footing path around the outer edge there. I thought at first that was strictly for people to walk around, but it certainly looks like it could be a foundation to be able to go up top. And then, of course, the very high side on one side here. I remember the Presentation College, when they were in operation, had what the NFL puts together for their practice fields in cold weather areas, a big old tent. And when I say tent, you don't think about a circus tent. I mean, this thing was really, did you ever have a chance to see that?
That was kind of like a little dome. Like I always call them half basketballs, because that's just a big basketball dome is what it is.
Well, as a matter of fact, they played softball games in there, and Northern Arizona State University has a dome, and they say that if they just expanded it slightly more, they could have had a baseball program inside there, because they kind of built an extension off the side of the dome so that you could have baselines down there, but they didn't quite make it quite long enough from that little indentation that went out and away from the dome. So that's pretty much where they got held up, and they do not have a baseball program there. But they play football in that dome, and they play basketball in a gymnasium next to it. But these dome stadiums are really fascinating. I know they had one down in Phoenix, Arizona. We used to go up from Tucson when I lived down there and have that dome. And the thing that's fascinating is the Glendale football stadium down in Phoenix, where they've had a Super Bowl. They have the grass field on rollers, and they actually roll that thing outside of the stadium when there's not a football game on, and water it, and make sure it gets plenty of vitamin D, et cetera, et cetera. And then when the game is ready to go, they roll this 100-foot, well, it's 100-yard rather. Actually, it's going to be more than 100 yards, because there's 10 yards on either end zone. So it's going to be like 140 some odd yards, and they roll this thing back in and lock it down, and that's how they play their football games in there. It's really interesting.
It's amazing what they do up here. It's when they build stadiums, they think of the cold weather, and they build extra things just in case,
Well, they could certainly use it here, because hopefully we won't have a winter like the last time out. But anyway, that's where things are going right now, and we will get down close to the second half kickoff. Once again, Roncalli Cavaliers leading the Redfield Pheasants by a score of 35 to nothing. You're listening to a Redfield High School sports presentation on KQ 1380. Well, Redfield will be coming out here and they will be kicking off. They won the opening coin toss and elected to receive. So teeing the ball up for Redfield will be Chase McGilvery, and dropping back in kickoff return formation will be number 15 James Behan and number 1 Aiden Fisher. And I don't know if you have a number there quickly. You've kept really good stats, but Fisher has just killed Redfield.
He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Caught 5 passes for 197 yards.
Oh, well, let's see what we do in the second half here. Nice kickoff by McGilvery, taken down on the 9-yard line by Fisher. Fisher moving to the left side as the Redfield defense collapses down on him, but he got a relatively decent return, did Fisher, and gets run out of bounds about the 29-yard line. So Fisher will help the Roncalli Cavaliers to put the ball in play on their own 29-yard line, 1st down and 10, and we're underway in the second half. I think it would be a moral victory if somehow or other Redfield could keep the 50-point differential away. They're trailing right now by a score of 35-0, and into the second half, if I understand correctly, as soon as a 50-yard or a 50-point differential gets going, the game is over with at that time. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So there was I'm not sure whether it was a delay of game penalty or what the story was, but anyway, there was a 5-yard penalty before things even got underway for Roncalli, and they are back on their 24-yard line, 1st down and 15.
The clock runs now until,
It'll
it's
run
under
straight.
35.
Okay, set to go here for Roncalli. Handoff straight up the middle with some running room down to the 30-yard line. And the ball was carried by Brehan. Check that, Caden Larson, who is in the game at the halfback position. So Redfield puts the stop there to Larson, but after a 5-yard gain, he's up to the 30-yard line, so we'll give him 6 yards on that pickup. But because of the penalty, it is now 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Inside handoff, and once again, boy, there was an outstanding tackle in there. I believe that was Elijah Morissette. It was indeed. And Morissette gets the ball and knocks the ball carrier right down at the 29-yard line. So a loss of 1 yard on the play by Weinmeister. Weinmeister was really a thorn in the side of Redfield in that first period, but then Aiden Fisher took over and really trounced the defense for Redfield. 3rd down and 10, the ball marked on the 29-yard line where this drive started. Being rushed right off of his feet and doing an outstanding job breaking through is Jacob Berhanen on defense. So Berhanen with a sack on the quarterback. The quarterback didn't even have an opportunity.
A 10-yard loss.
Drops that ball back to the 19-yard line. So on the 19, it'll now be 4th and 20. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first punt that Redfield has forced Roncalli to make. Back in the deep safety for Redfield as the punt bounces and then takes a Roncalli bounce against Roncalli, and it is down at the 46-yard line. And Redfield is in decent field position here to start off the 3rd period, the second half.
Absolutely. They're in Roncalli territory now. Maybe that'll give them a little momentum and get them going.
All right, the ball marked on the near side at the 46-yard line in Roncalli territory. This is the finest field position that Redfield has started any of their drives so far. Redfield flanking 3 out to the right side and 1 to the left. Chase McGilvery is in the backfield by himself, and apparently Hank Brasilio, the head coach for Redfield, saw something he didn't like and called the timeout right away. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380. McGilvery quick out of the timeout and takes the ball on a straight shot and hustles down to the left side and across and gets a Redfield first down. So 1st and 10 for Redfield. They are on the Cavalier 37-yard line. So it is an 11-yard pickup for McGilvery and a first down for Redfield, and this is the farthest that they have been into Roncalli territory. Redfield with 3 flank to the left and 1 to the right is in the backfield by himself. This is Ethan Falk at quarterback, and there is a timeout or an offside. He lined up in the neutral zone, and the offside is put against the Cavaliers. So it'll be 5 yards for Redfield, taking the ball down to the Cavalier 32-yard line, and it will be 1st and 5. So Ethan Falk, after McGilvery took a straight shot and got a good gain of 11 yards, Falk is at quarterback. Falk back to run, steps out of the right side, and gets down to about the 25-yard line before Aiden Fisher upends him.
On the tackle for the Cavaliers is
So the ball is marked on the far side with the open field to Redfield's left. The ball on the 25-yard line, a pickup of 7 yards for the Pheasants, and that will make it 2nd down. Well, wait a minute, I thought it was 1st and 5 on that penalty. I guess they marked the penalty before the play, so it makes it a 2nd down and 3. 3 flankers for the right side, and McGilvery back at quarterback. Back to throw, gets flushed out of the pocket as the linebackers came through on a blitz, and a big loss for Redfield as McGilvery gets sacked, and he'll be dropped back all the way to the 33-yard line.
brings up 3rd and 11. Ball on the
3rd down and 11 as the ball is marched all the way back to the 33-yard line. Eight-yard loss on the play. 3 flankers to the near side on the short side of the field. McGilvery calling signals. Noah Johnson, the sole flanker, out to the right. And once again, the blitzing linebackers come through and get McGilvery before he can even think about throwing a pass. Looks like he is dropped back to about the 37-yard line. Let's make it the 39-yard line. So a 6-yard loss on the play and another sack recorded for the Roncalli Cavaliers. And that brings up a 4th down and a long, long way to go for Redfield.
It'll be 4th and 17. Ball on the 39.
Ball marked at the 39-yard line. So it's going to be 4th and 17. McGilvery, the lone back to throw. Here they come again. This one lifted way out and downfield, and there's a scramble for the ball. It is intercepted by number 7, I believe, or is that a 1? No, it is number 7, and that is, well, it is a 1. Aiden Fisher, boy, the interesting
That's probably as good as a
Good as a
punt.
punt. I believe that was number 7 that got that, and that is a defensive back who is a freshman, Luke Kelzer. And a turnover for an INT, and it will be first down for Roncalli. As it looks like we're going to have a timeout. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380.
Officials timeout for water break.
Oh, water break. I keep forgetting about those.
Each trip down the armor 30-0. Broken leads Dakota Hills 42-0. Warner leads Western Area 40-8. Bridgewater Emory Eastern 26, Clarksville Lake 7. St. Thomas More leads Rapid City Christian 7-0. Elk Point Correction, Sioux Valley leads Elk Point
Luke Kaiser.
9. Parker leads Stone Andrews 28-0. Hot Springs defeated Dakota Tech 61-6. Lakota Central Montrose leads Vulcan 26-0. Miller Highmore Herald leads Scotland Meadow 8-6. Dual leads Sisseton 14-0. Hill City leads Deadwood 30-13.
Well, a turnaround for Redfield. They were the deepest that they've been in the ball game into Roncalli territory, but a pass down to the 5-yard line, and getting up to grab that pass was Luke Kaiser. Interception, and Roncalli will put the ball in play on their own 5-yard line. So now would be an excellent time for the Redfield defense to really step up, and we have a timeout called by Roncalli. So apparently some mix-up there about what the head coach, Billy Young, wanted to have done, and he, rather than get himself in trouble that deep in his own territory, decided to call a timeout once again. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is KQ 1380. Well, kind of a false start for the Roncalli Cavaliers after an interception, putting the ball in play on their own 5-yard line. But head coach for the Roncalli Cavaliers, Billy Young, just said, no, it didn't look right. The snap is being taken at the goal line, and it goes directly, and Redfield is all over it. Grady Fye gets in there and gets the tackle for a loss. Nice job by Grady, and the ball is marked on the 3-yard line. So a loss of 2 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 12. Roncalli needs to get out to the 15-yard line, and Grady Fye would have none of it. Grady on the left defensive tackle. On the front line is Grady Fye, Elijah Morissette, and Jacoby Vam. Back into the end zone, and getting out is Weinmeister. He finally escapes out of his own end zone and gets out to about his own 13-yard line, so very close to a first down. So Weinmeister gets the ball out to the 14, so a 9-yard pickup on the play. Check that 11-yard pickup on the play, and it'll be 3rd down and 1. Third and 1 for Roncalli. Redfield trying to keep them back in their own territory. Quarterback keeper, and into the backfield, 2 Redfield Pheasants. And let's see, that is Grady Fye and Elijah Morissette, and that will trap the quarterback back on the 15-yard line. but it is just enough to get the first down. So the quarterback, Zane Backus, I thought they got him in the backfield, but apparently they had a good offensive line surge.
It didn't look like he crossed the 15-yard line. So,
well, anyway, a first down for Backus as he picks up 1 yard. And Roncalli back in business. Handoff goes to the left side. Now cutting back and driving across the 25-yard line was number 7. That is a freshman in the lineup. They had so many players, we had to do things on the back of our card here. That is Lucas Kaiser in the ball game as a freshman. And they marked the ball out at the 32-yard line. So Kaiser making his opportunities successful. As a 17-yard pickup on that play. And another first down for Roncalli. Off to the left side, Kaiser once again turning and spinning and gets across the 35-yard line. Check that was Aiden Fisher. Boy, the 1 sure looks like a 7 to me, doesn't it to you, Ted?
yeah.
These funky kind of numbers. The ball is out to the 43-yard line. So an 11-yard pickup for Fisher. And this is his first big pickup in the second half as he ran wild in the first half, not only returning punts but also catching passes and also running. So quite a few all-purpose yards for Aiden Fisher. Not only that, he kicks extra points, kicks off, and returns kickoffs. And so it's going to be Redfield at the end of the third period there, as Redfield once again has held the line pretty much in the third period. And they are behind by a score of 35-0. And this is KQ 1380. Would you write it up over there?
Huh?
Would you write it up on that thing that I have here? Here. Yeah, on that right there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, into the third period, I think, Ted, the way the last two games have gone in the third period for Redfield, we ought to play the third period 4 periods. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
So
yeah, they kind of held them up. Roncalli's playing some of their second stringers and giving them some chance to play. And Redfield's kind of solid up here in the third quarter.
So it is a first down and 10 for Roncalli as they are at the 38-yard line. Low pass from center and doing an outstanding job just hanging on is Grady Fye. Of course, Grady is one of the top heavyweight wrestlers in the South Dakota area, and he grabbed a hold of the shirt and just would not let go. So a loss back to the 34-yard line. So a 9-yard loss on the play. And that will bring up a second down and 14. Handoff to number 28. Let's see if we can find that number on there. I think he's putting freshmen in, and so I'm going to have to look at the other side of our card here. Well, we don't have a 28 on there. Okay, we'll call him George. George carried the ball, tore his shirt. Oh, he is 20. Well, looked like a 28 when he tore his shirt, but still a freshman. Don't have a 20. Boy, I'm 0 for the world here.
Okay, we'll call him Max.
Okay, Max lost a couple of yards there. Snap goes back to the quarterback, Backus, sprints out of the pocket and heads off to the right side, gets across the 40-yard line, and driven out of bounds at the 42 by Jacob Brannon. Very close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it. Not quite there, 47-yard line. So a nice run by Backus. So a 13-yard gain for Backus. And it will be 4th down and 1 for Roncalli, and they'll go for it with a 35-0 lead and 9:56 left to go in the football game. Backus gives it off to Weinmaster. Weinmaster fights his way across the 50-yard line and will pick up the first down there.
The result of the play is Cavaliers first down.
First down for Roncalli. The ball is marked on the 46-yard line of Redfield. So a 7-yard pickup on the play. And that will bring up another first down for the Roncalli Cavaliers. Some confusion on the defensive side for Redfield. Backus continuing to call signals. Hands off inside to Kaiser. Kaiser loses the ball. A scramble for it at the 40-yard line. Let's see who picked it up. Well, they're indicating initially here that Roncalli has the ball still. And the ball down to the 41-yard line. So Kaiser picks up 5 yards on the play. And he'll bring up a 2nd and 5. Well, the young freshman Kaiser is making the most of his opportunities here, as here in the second half he has certainly done an outstanding job off the bench, and there'll be a timeout called by the Redfield Pheasants. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is KQ 1380. Well, Redfield is being forced again into their own territory. The ball is marked on the 41-yard line. Going to be 2nd down, probably closer to 6. With 8:28 left to go, Redfield hanging in there, 35-0. As they have been mercy ruled by 50 points in their first 2 games, but in this particular game, kind of hanging in there. Backus is still at quarterback, but they have a lot of freshmen and sophomores in the lineup now for Roncalli, giving them an opportunity. Inside handoff, all the way out to the outside, and tracking down and sacking the runner. That is number 29. And there again, that is a freshman as well. But Chase McGilvery chased him down, and the ball carrier was Will Haskell. Haskell loses some yardage on the play, as the ball is marked now back at the 45-yard line. So a loss of 4 yards, and that will bring up a 3rd down and it's going to be a 3rd down and 9. Backus at the shotgun. Takes the ball and hands it inside to Kaiser, and Kaiser is tracked down by Elijah Morissette and tackled almost at the line of scrimmage. So Kaiser, another freshman, getting an opportunity to play here. The ball is put down right at the 45-yard line, so it'll be 4th down and 9, and this will only be the 2nd time that Roncalli has punted today.
You think they're going to punt?
Well, I don't know. At least Redfield has somebody back to receive. That's Connor Zenz.
Yeah, they're going to punt.
And back to kick is Aiden Fisher. However, I would be very concerned about this as the whistle goes down and we have a flag on the play, and it seems to indicate that the penalty is against Redfield. Not exactly sure what this is about.
Too many players on the field. Yep, that's what it was.
Well, if you're not doing well at 35-0 with 11, why not 12? Maybe 13. Sneak them in there.
Once in a while, them umpires and referees, they can count.
Okay. Once in a while, huh?
And the line judge, that's his job to see how many players are on the field.
Well, anyway, it's a 4th down situation, and they are going to punt. A line drive goes to Zenz, and Zenz is knocked down on the 16-yard line. So Redfield will take the ball 1st down and 10 with the ball on their own 16-yard line. I think because that kick was so low and right at Zenz, he might have stepped aside at the 6-yard line and let the thing go into the end zone, but sometimes...
I think he thought he looked downfield, and I think he thought, well, they are close. Maybe I can get some yards.
Yeah, 6:07 left to go in the football game. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is KQ 1380. You're going to what? I didn't hear you. Well, okay, why don't you just do illegal? .607 left to go on the clock in this football game, and in the second half, with very liberal substitution from the lower classes, freshmen and sophomores, Roncalli has been held scoreless as they had a halftime lead of 35-0. Redfield with the ball, and at quarterback is going to be McGilvery. They have that spread formation still going on. Snap back, McGilvery's going to run straight up the middle, get some running room across the 30-yard line to the 35, down to the 40, and down to the 47-yard line. The best run of the year for Chase McGilvery on a straight shot. A 1st down for Redfield as the ball went from the 17-yard line and is now marked at the 49. A pickup of 32 yards for Chase McGilvery. 1st down and 10. Redfield is on their own 49-yard line. They had an excursion pretty deep into Roncalli territory earlier in the 3rd period in the second half. So McGilvery at quarterback, 3 flankers to the left. McGilvery back to throw. Steps out of the way of an on-rushing wingman and fumbles the ball. And Roncalli will take it over on the 41-yard line.
Oh, my golly.
So Roncalli fumbled, picked up by the Cavaliers. 1st down and 10 for Roncalli on the Redfield 41-yard line. Well, that's been pretty typical of the game so far, Ted.
Yeah, 2 steps back and 2 steps back and 1 ahead.
Yeah.
2 steps back and 1 ahead.
Yep, that's exactly what's going on here.
But that's improvement from Hot Springs. They were 3 steps back and a half step forward.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Flank way out to the right side. Another freshman. Inside handoff. This goes to number 10. Well, they seem to have an all-freshman team in there. I have to look on the back side of my scorecard here. Austin Fisher is the ball carrier. And quite frankly, this is very wise of Billy Young to put his young players in there and give them an opportunity to get a taste of action. The ball is down to the 36-yard line. So a 5-yard pickup on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 5. New quarterback is in there, and we will get that number here in just a second. There were so many players on the roster for Roncalli that I went ahead and printed the freshmen on the back of our scorecard, thinking that they would never get into the game. How wrong was I? So at quarterback now is Austin Fisher. Redfield succeeded in knocking down the ball carrier. The ball is back to the 37-yard line, and that will bring up a 3rd down and 6. The ball on the 37-yard line for Roncalli in Redfield territory. Quarterback is number 10, Austin Fisher. Gets a low snap, hands it inside, and that will go to another freshman. He is finally tackled by Grady Fye. And that was Gene Anthony Thomas, I believe.
The result of the play is a
So
first down.
Thomas picks up a 1st down as he runs the ball down to the 31-yard line. A 6-yard pickup on the play. And the freshman team, basically, for Roncalli is on the move here with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in our football game. Still at quarterback, Austin Fisher. Takes the direct snap, hands it inside. Not too much running room, does get up to about the 30-yard line. The ball was carried by Ryder Shaving. The middle of the Redfield line in on the tackle. The ball down to the 30-yard line, so a pickup of 1, 2nd down and 9. Aiden Schoeneman in the ball game for Roncalli. Flanking out to the right side, Gene Anthony Thomas. Quarterback snap. Drops the ball, and in on top of him right away for Redfield, number 79. That's going to be Alex Wren. So Redfield getting a couple of new players into the ball game. Ball is marked at the 32-yard line. So a loss of 2 yards on the play, and that will bring up a 3rd down and 11. Snap on a direct to the quarterback. Handoff inside. That goes to Ryder Shaving. Shaving drives off the right side. And once again for Redfield on the play, Alex Wren. Ball back to the 33-yard line. So it's going to be 4th and 12 now. And I would suspect that Roncalli is just going to go ahead and run the play no matter what.
Let the clock run out.
Well, they're letting the clock run down is basically what they're doing. 9 seconds, 8 seconds left to go in our football game. And it looks like we will complete the game here. So Redfield this time gets all the way through a game, albeit a 35-0 loss. But Redfield improving ever so slightly every
They
week.
held them scoreless in the second half.
Not too bad. So we will come back and wrap up in about 1 minute. You're listening to Football on KQ 1380. Well, little by little, some improvement for the Redfield rebuilding team as they lost a major number of their key players to graduation. And this time out, 35-0, our final score, which beats the heck out of being mercy ruled at 50 points as they have in the past 2 games. And so what have you seen in this one? What are the statistics that seem to stand out for you there, Ted?
The statistics for Roncalli, they had 115 yards rushing, 218 passing. Redfield held them to 0 passing yards in the second half, so that's an improvement. Redfield had 43 yards rushing and 7 passing. They didn't have no passing yards in the second half, so I think it was improvement. They shut them down the second half though that Roncalli was playing quite a bit of their second stringers and third stringers, but Redfield boys, they had the heart. They stayed right in there and stayed after it, so.
Well, you know, Ted, we have said that all along, that Redfield, even though they're being, politely slaughtered, the kids running on and off the field, they seem to scramble around to get to the position to make the tackle, but unfortunately, too often the tackles are slipping through, but that is technique that can be learned as they go along. So, I don't know, I'm relatively encouraged by today's game as they keep making little baby steps forward, and we'll see if they can't keep things going as they go through the activities here of this rebuilding year. Checking on activities for Redfield, next week they'll be playing Mobridge Pollock. They'll be coming into town here. Long ride for them. Right now, the kickoff time is scheduled for 7 o'clock with 6:45, the pregame show on KQ 1380. But because of the distance and the possible change in weather, I don't know, maybe this is a little early to worry about that. It's a possibility, although remote at the moment, that kickoff time could be moved up. So stay close to KQ 1380 and listen for any changes in what is going on there. But that will about do it here from the Northern State University Stadium, and it is a gorgeous stadium, a fine facility. If you have an opportunity to come up and enjoy a Northern football game, I believe that they will be in town on Saturday of next week, but I don't hold me to that completely because I just am firing that off the top of my head. So that'll about do it here. On behalf of Ted Kimball, my sidekick, this is Alan Scott, thanking Ray Dunn, our producer-engineer. That final score, once again, was Roncalli 35-0 over Redfield. You're listening to Redfield Pheasants Sports Presentation on KQ 1380. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Ray.